previous video we learned about how to create an add to cart button, and when we click on this the item gets added to the cart and it also gets added to the local storage, and we put that into the context API and we pull that information from the context API to show the number of product added to the cart and the total price as well. Now once the user has added the first product, we now want to check if we already have an item in the cart, which means that we already have an item inside of the local storage. So if local storage is not empty, and that's the time we're going to write a logic to update the cart with the new value. So we're going to take the old value, add the new value, and go ahead and calculate a total and then update the cart with the new information. Okay, so let's say currently we have one product, so it'll become 2, and if we add the next product, so the price will be added depending on what he's added. Awesome. So over here we are back into our add to cart button component, and inside of this we are checking if the local storage has the item, which means if the item is present inside of the existing cart, the first thing we want to do is pull the item out of the existing cart and convert it into the object. So we need to parse it because currently it's in the string format. So we'll do json.parse and we'll just say existing cart. Okay, so we've got the data and we're just passing it. Next thing, we want the updated cart, so we'll say const updated cart is equal to, again we'll create a function for that. We're not going to make a component dirty by putting all of the functions and codes right here. It needs to be simple, so you can see how simple it is. You come over here, you understand what's going on. If it's an existing cart, then do this. If it's not, then do this, right? So we'll just add a function. So what you want to do is just update cart. So we'll create this function in a moment. It's going to take the existing cart value, is going to take the product data and the quantity to be added. So in this case the quantity to be added will be 1. So const quantity to be added is equal to 1. Awesome. So we're going to add this. Alright, now we're going to create this function into the functions.js, and of course we'll have to pull it from the functions.js once it's created. So let's pull it beforehand. We'll go back to our functions.js and we'll create that function. So let's do that. So export const. So we have the update cart function. Now we need to understand what are the parameters it's going to take to do its job. Okay, so what are we passing? We are passing this data. So it's existing cart, product, and quantity to be added. So let's just pass that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add all of the logic inside of this to update the cart. Okay, and we can also put a new quantity, another parameter which we will need later. I'll explain to you later as to why we need that, but let's just stick to this. Okay, so what will be the updated products? Updated products will be equal to, let's create another function, get updated products. Okay, so we'll create another function, is going to take existing cart dot products, because remember inside of the cart we have products. Okay, so that's why I'm saying existing cart, which is this, dot products. So we're passing the products array data. Okay, next up, and then the next thing is going to take is the product, which is this, is going to take quantity to be added and the new quantity. So let's go ahead and create this function. So we're going to create this function which is get updated product. So export const get updated product is equal to, and again it's going to take existing product in cart, and it's going to take product quantity to be added, and again new quantity. If not passed, then it'll be false. This will be an arrow, that's why you're getting an error. Awesome. Great. Now we will check if the product already exists in the cart, which means that when the user clicks on any of the products, then what if that particular product is already there? Then we don't want to add a new array of product here. We just want to update the existing product details, which means that we're going to update the quantity, the total price, and so on. So every time user adds a product, the products array will be increased by 1. So there will be first element, second element. If it's a new product, if it's an existing product, then we're just going to find that product and just update the values like the quantity and the price. So that's what we want to check right now, that const product exists index. So we want to know the index of the product if it exists, because which element is that? Is that the first element, the second element in the array, or which one is that? Only then we'll be able to update that properly. So what we want to do is we'll again create a function which we'll name it as is product in cart. It's going to take all of this information. I'm just going to copy this. Existing product in the cart, it'll take product ID, product ID. So remember that we have product ID. Okay, and this is existing products in the cart. Alright, let's create this function now. So export const is product in cart. So this is the function we're going to create, which is product in cart, and it's going to take the existing product in cart, and it's going to take the product ID as well. Okay, awesome. So now we need to return the item if it exists. So how do we do that? We're going to say const return item that exists. So this is going to be a function. It takes the item and it takes the index. And what we'll do is we use array filter. So we already know what array filter does in JavaScript. So if you check array filter JavaScript, it filters items through the array by calling a function on it. So you can see that if you use array filter, for example, ages is an array, and you use filter, it takes a callback function. So the callback function iterates through the items of the array, each items of the array, and then returns items basis a condition. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to do. This is our function, so think of, and then we're going to loop through this array that we have, which is existing products in the cart, and we're just going to return a new array. Okay, so we'll say existing products in the cart dot filter, and then we'll just use the return item that exists function. Okay, inside of this we're just going to check if product ID is equal to item dot product ID. Then return true. Sorry, return item. Okay, so what will happen is that it's going to loop through each item of the array, each item of the product. So let's say you have 0, 1, 2, 3. If he's added like 3, 4 products, we already have the product ID that we are checking with, and because we are passing that information here, it's going to loop through each item, is going to match the product ID. If it finds any of the item, any of the array item, like one of these, like 0th or the first or whichever, if it finds that it's equal, then it's just going to return that item, which means the new array would contain the item with the same ID as what we are passing this as a parameter. If it doesn't, then we won't have that particular, we won't have nothing in this array, right? So all we have to do is just return existing products in the cart, index of new array, and we want the first element. Okay, so we have this array already. What we want is, we want to know the position of this element inside of that array, because we found the element. If the product ID is the same, which means that the product already exists in the cart. So if he's already added something, and if he's trying to add the same product again, this will return that item. So this will stand out true, and it's going to return that item. All we are saying is that get me the position of that item. So this is going to give me the position, the index number of that element. So whether it's on 0th element or the first element or the 8th or which one it is. So that's the job of this function basically. So the job of this function is basically to return index of the product if it exists. If it doesn't exist, it won't return that. Okay. So we get the index right here. Okay, so what do we want to do next? So once we get the indexed, that means that if you check index of method in JavaScript, it will return -1 if the product doesn't exist. You can see method returns -1 if the value to the search for never occurs, right? So we'll say if the product exists, exist, which means that the index will be greater than -1. So that means that index of that product is found in the array. Okay, then update the product quantity and total price. Awesome. Now we'll say let updated products is equal to existing product in the cart, and let updated product is equal to updated products, and that'll be the product exist index. Okay, so we are actually getting that particular element using the index from the existing products in the cart. And then if we have the new quantity of the product available, then set that else add the quantity to be added. Okay, so if we have the quantity of the product available, then you just need to update the quantity of the product. So how do we do that? So we'll just do updated product dot quantity is equal to, we'll first check if new quantity is not empty, then just do a parseInt of the new quantity, just in case if it's in a string it has to be converted to integer, and then parseInt updated product dot quantity plus quantity to be added. So if the new quantity is available, then just go ahead and add that, else update the quantity to the new one. Okay, and we also need to update the price as well, right? So updated product dot total price is equal to parse float, because it may be in decimal, updated product dot price into, which is multiplied by updated product into quantity, to fixed, to decimal up to 2 places. Okay, awesome. So what we want to do over here is that if the new quantity is available, set that to the new quantity. But if we already have an existing quantity and if we want to update that, we just updating it using updated product quantity plus the quantity to be added. Okay. Also, we are updating the price by multiplying the updated product price multiplied by the quantity that needs to be added, and then we're just getting the decimal up to 2 places. That's what we're doing over here, and then we just need to return the updated product. Okay. Else, so let's say that if it was found, if it was not found and the product doesn't exist, it's a new product that we want to add to the cart. So in that case, if product not found, push the new product to the existing products array. Existing. Okay, so we'll say let product price is equal to get float value, and remember that's the reason we created this function earlier, the job of which is to basically convert your string into a float number. Okay, so we'll just say product dot price. So this will be a product price, and the new product will be new product is equal to create new product, and that's the reason we had created this function earlier, if you remember, the job of which is to return this object, new product object, with the desired data. Okay, so it's going to take product, I'll take product price and the quantity to be added. So we'll have the new product because he's adding a new product. It's not, we are not updating the existing product, we just need to add this to the cart. So we'll just say existing products in the cart dot push, because that's an array that we have. This is an array, we just want to push that, push the new product inside of it, new product. Okay, and then just return the existing product in cart. Alright, awesome. So that's what we've done in get the upgraded products. Okay, now we are back to our comment this as to what this function does, so it's easy for you to take a reference. So what this does is basically get updated products array, update the product if it exists, and add the new product to existing cart. Okay, so that's the job of this function. You can always take reference. We are back to update cart. So you can see that there's so much of code that we've written. If we had to go ahead and write everything in the same function, it would have all been messed up. So it's better to break your codes down into pieces. So we've got the updated products now. So this array that we are getting will contain the new product already. So if it's an old product that we are updating, it will have the updated product. If it isn't, then it will add the new product into that array and just return it to us. So we have this information. What we also want to do is we want to calculate the total price, because the total price is going to change now. So if you check over here, we have the total products count and the total price over here. So this will change, so we need to take care of that as well. So we'll just say const add price is equal to, it's going to take total, so it's a function that we're creating, item, and then it's going to say total dot total price is equal to, in fact plus equal to, whatever the previous total price is, just add to that. So item dot total price, and then total dot quantity is equal to item dot quantity. Okay, and then you just need to return the total. So what this has done is basically gone ahead and updated this information. So all we have to do is just loop through the updated product array and add the total price to each item. So not only we need to update the entire total product count and price, but also for that particular element, so that particular individual product. So what you see over here, we've created a function and we're just going to loop through each item of each product's array over here, and we're just going to update the total price and the quantity of that particular product item. Okay, and then we're going to update finally the main total products count and the total products price. Okay. So let's do that. So loop through the updated product array and add the total price of each item to get the total price. Because if we want to get the total price, then while we are looping through this array, we can also get the total price also, because the price of the first item plus the second item plus the third item and so on will actually be the total price, and similarly the count of these will be the total products count. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll use the reduce method of JavaScript. The method executes a provided function for each value of the array from left to right, and the return value of the function is stored in an accumulator. So basically that's what we want to do. We want to accumulate the total of the price and quantity of each of the product. So since we want to accumulate that, we'll use the reduce method. Okay, and this method does not change the original array. So that's the reason we don't really need to worry about that. It is going to change the existing array. Okay, because if you remember, if you go back and check, we have already updated the quantity and the total price for each of the items. So we don't really need to update individually for these products, but we do need to have a total count and total price, which we can get that using the reduce method, because the reduce method is going to accumulate the total and give it to us as a, it's not going to change anything for the existing array, so it doesn't use that as a reference. Okay, so let's do that then. So let total is equal to updated products dot reduce. I'm going to use add price function, and then we're going to pass. So add price function will be called, and we'll say total price will be 0 and quantity will be 0. So what will happen is initially the total price will be 0 and the quantity will be 0, but once it loops through each other item of the array and it calculates the total price and the quantity, it'll give us an accumulated value of the total price and the total quantity in the quantity property. Now we need to create the updated cart. So const updated cart is equal to, so we already have the products, updated products, so we'll say updated products. We have the total products count. All we have to do is just do a parseInt, and we've already got the total dot quantity. Remember, we have the quantity right here, and then we also need the total products price, which is parse float total dot total price. Okay, so we have the total price inside of this total object, so we're just using that. Okay, So finally we've got the updated cart. It wasn't so simple, but you can see that if you break down things into pieces, it's easy for you to understand. And we just have to return the updated cart. Okay. So we've got the updated cart. Okay, so we go back to our add to cart function. Okay, so we have the updated cart. All we have to do is just do a set item. Okay, because we do have the set cart method available, so we can use that here as well, because we need to pass that information to the context so that it's available to all other components, and we can use it whenever we want to. And now we also need to update the local storage with that information. So say local storage dot set item woo next cart is equal to json dot stringify updated cart. One thing we need to change is inside of the functions.js, where we are returning updated product. This is updated products. This is an array, not this. Okay, so let me show you step by step what's happening, but I just want to show you that in action, that it's really working. So first thing we will do is just clear our local storage, so we don't have anything inside of that. And now we will add the first item. So you can see now we have the first item in the cart. We have in the context as well. That's why you will be able to see here first product, and the price was £11.05. Okay, now let's click. Now you must be wondering that this is pound and this is dollar, so let me just change that. Cart icon. Okay, we'll worry about the icon later. Okay, let's just focus on the job that we're doing. So if you click again on this, it's going to update the existing one. As you can see, that it's updated the existing one. It's increased the quantity by 1, and it's also added the price. So that's why it becomes 22.0. Total products count is also increased, and the product's price is also increased, and the context is also updated. That's why you see a change over here. If I add a new product, so what do you expect to happen? Well, of course, the new product has been added in the products array with all of the data, and the total product count is increased, and the price is accumulative of all of this, the two of them, the 2 of this and the 1 of this, so 3 in total, and that's the price. Awesome. So it works great. Now let me guide you through this step by step, because it's a little complex, so let me make it easy for you to understand. So let's clear the cart and start from the beginning. Okay, so user clicks on the add to cart button the first time, clicks it there. So we come over here, this method gets called, we check if you're in browser, and then we check is it an existing cart. No, it isn't, so it'll come over here, which means that we didn't find anything inside of the local storage. So it come over here, it adds the first product. Now we have already explained what's happening in the first product function, so we won't go through that. But yes, it's going ahead and creating the first product and setting the local storage value to that, as well as the context with the new object, updating the context with the new object. Okay, for the cart. Now the next time if you clicks on this way, so now we have the data in the local storage. So this comes over here inside of this expression, and we parse the item, then we add one quantity because he's clicking that once, and then we are calling this function to update the cart. It gives us the updated cart value, which we are then adding to updating that to the context. Okay, so let's go into this to see what's going on. So inside of the update cart is going to call the get updated products. The get updated products is going to check if the product exists in the cart already. If it does, it's going to get me the index of which one is it that you are trying to look for. So we already have the product ID, because when you click on this element, we have the product data, so we have the product ID. So that's why we are passing the product ID here, and we are checking that if that product ID exists in any of these array elements. So let's say there's one more, so now we have two, so it will find out that whether it exists. So if it does, then it'll give me the index of that. So if index is greater than -1, this means the product exists. If it does exist, then we are first setting the value of updated products to the old one, so that we can, you know, update this. And once we add the updated product quantity and total price, we are returning the updated products. Once we return the updated products, we go back to the update cart, we get the updated products, we add the price, we go ahead and loop through this array using a reduce function. It's going to get me calculate the total price and quantity, so it'll loop through each item, and then it's going to get the quantity of 2 plus 1. So then it'll give me an accumulative price and accumulative quantity by looping through each item in the array. So this one and this one, so it'll give me 3, and then it'll give me a total price. So once we get the total, all we have to do is just get the updated cart. So we'll create a new object, add the updated products, which is this updated products, into the products property. We'll set the total product count to total dot quantity that we get, which is total dot quantity, and similarly the price will be total dot total price, and we just parse and then pass float. Okay, so that's how we get that. And then once we get the final updated cart, so let me just console that to you, console log that for you. Okay, so updated cart, so let's say we are updating the existing one, so click that, you see updated one now has 3 items and the price is increased. So we have the updated products, the total count is increased to 4, total price is increased to 51.15. So now we set that value to the local storage, so we update the local storage information, so you can now see that local storage is also updated, and then we just return the updated card. So once it's returned, we are back to our handle add to cart click function, and we just set the context. So because we are setting the context over here, we are pulling the context into the cart icon. You can see we are pulling the cart out of the context over here, and we are just using that cart information. So we are pulling out the product count and total price out of the cart object, and we are just using that to show the price and the quantity. Okay, in case if it's a new one, if it's a new product that we are adding, not updating the existing one, then it goes ahead and comes into this condition. So in this condition we get the price, we get the new product. So by creating a new product, so we'll create a new object with all of that information, and once we create the new object, then we push that into the existing cart. So we already have an array of products, we just push that item. So let me show that to you. We click on it, we push that new element here, new item here, and then we return the new array of products. So now we have this new array of products that we are returning. Once we return the updated products, again we are doing the same thing. We are iterating through each item in the array, and we are just getting the accumulative total price and the quantity using the array.reduce method, and then we're getting the updated cart value. We are setting the new cart value to this, and we're also going to go ahead and update the context context, which is basically our store where we store the data for us. So I hope it was clear. If you still have any questions, you can leave it in the comment box, and if you did like my video, guys, please give a thumbs up. And to appreciate my efforts that I've put in, please give a star to my repository. So this is WooNext. Okay, to support my effort, you can just put a star over here, just click on this, and also follow me on Twitter, and do subscribe to my channel. Okay, great. And last but not the least, we just need to show a view cart button over here once we have once the user has clicked on add to cart, right? So we want to show that to the user. So let's go ahead and do that. What we can do is we can initialize a state inside of our add to cart button. Right here we can say const, and we'll first go ahead and add this show view cart and set show view cart method is equal to use state. We set this value to false first, which means that if user has not clicked on the add to cart, we'll first set this value to false, and once he's clicked it, we'll call this method to change this value to true, and that's how we're going to toggle between the button to go onto the view cart. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll go over here to functions. Okay, and yeah, right here. So what we're going to do is when the user clicks on the button, this function will be called, and once this function is called, I just want to use the set show view cart to true. That's all I have to do. Okay, and then at the bottom I can just check if show view cart is true, only then use the link with href and send him to, if he clicks on this, and send him to the cart page, and then we can have a button and we also need to have else statement button, and then we can give it class name, name it as woo next view cart button btn secondary, and then we can just name it as view cart. Okay, so what will happen is when the user clicks on this, we'll toggle between the button, not toggle as in, but just show it. Okay, so let's try that. Click on this, we have the view cart. Okay, now for some reason the style isn't looking good. Let's fix that. So woo next view cart button, it needs some margin. Let me go to style.css and let's add a margin to it. Margin left of 10 pixels. Let's try that. Awesome, works great. So you can click on the view cart, but of course currently we don't have anything on the cart page, but you can see it's working. You click on this, you can see it's increased. You have a view cart option. You click on this, it's increased. You have a view cart option. Now in the future videos we're going to take him to a cart page where he'll be able to add and subtract the items from the cart, but currently I think this looks good enough that we can add items to the cart, which looks really great, isn't it? Awesome. So guys, if you did like the video, give a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel. I will see you next. Take care. Bye bye.